Cindy and I are so close to our 30s. We wanted to take time to reflect on our 20s. We have lived through many seasons in our 20s, and we wanted to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Enjoy.
Hi, Chanel.
Hello, Cindy.
We're back at it with another episode of Us Not Together, and I'm currently dancing. Yep.
Separation, come back to me.
I know, but we got to do what we got to do because life is lifing.
Ooh, it's
right?
lifing.
It's lifing. And I think, that is a great segue into our topic, which is life. Today's episode is about life. Brought to you by, who sponsors that game?
It's probably Hasbro, maybe? One of the big.
Yeah. Could you imagine if that was our first
companies.
sponsor, was the game of life? Because we just talk about life all the time.
Oh my god. Download the
Did you
app
like
now.
that game?
I did like that game. I really liked that game. And it's kind of sad because
So
do I like life as much? No.
quick question. How did you go about playing life? Did you play life like there's one way where you try to depict and emulate the current life that you're living? Or did you try to live a life that wasn't the life that you were living?
So,
for example, go on.
When I played life, I was a child. So
okay.
I didn't get the opportunity to make any choices, but I went the route that you're supposed to go. So
yeah, okay. So that was the question I was
going
to ask. Yeah, that was the question I was going to ask because growing up, I knew it wasn't an option for me not to go to college. But whenever I played the game of life, I always didn't go to college.
Wow.
I was like every once in a while, like at first I didn't until I realized that when you went to college, like you made more money in your jobs. So I started doing it, but I like the idea of like, what is life like if you just kind of jump right into it? Who needs college? And obviously the game of life is like, go to college because you make more money.
Yeah.
But I miss board game season and I miss playing games like life, and I wish to bring that back. I need to find myself a community of board gamers, not gamers, but board gamers.
We need to bring it back. It was always a good time.
Did
you ever play it was called, I think, Egyptian War or like Slap Rat or...
Yep, of course.
Yes.
The card games, of course.
Yes. I love me a good card game. But Cindy...
Girl, the next time we're together, we got to play it. We got to play cards. Yeah.
But I will warn you, people... It's so sad. People stop wanting to play card games with me. Especially that Slap Rat. I can't get anybody to play that with me. You see, I don't think I'm to blame. I don't.
Chanel, if people choose to stop, okay, the commonality in the situation is you. So what do you do?
But I just be playing the game. I'm competitive. You know what I mean?
Do you slap hard?
I don't slap hard. I don't slap to hurt people. I don't do that.
Do you get angry at people if
I don't get angry at people. So I'm just competitive.
Why?
I'm just competitive. I want to win. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to go out of my way to hurt people. That's why I feel like if we played...
Yeah.
We would have a lot of fun, but I think everybody else is going to quit.
Have you ever played Speed? That's a game that we can play.
Oh, I love Speed. I haven't played that in
just two people.
Long.
We don't need anybody. Just me and you.
Period.
Next time we're together, card games.
Exactly. I was playing a game of solitaire the other day because I've been learning lines, and apparently when you learn lines, you should do an activity so that it just gets into like your cerebellum. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, let me just play solitaire and then learn these lines. And I'm like, I haven't played solitaire in a minute. This feels good to play this game. I love card games.
Solitaire and Minesweeper were like the games that I would go to before I was allowed games on my computer.
Oh my gosh, Minesweeper. Oh, every time I'd be like, I want to go on the computer and be like an adult. And I would play solitaire, Minesweeper, all that. The pinball game.
Pinball game. Pinball game was annoying 3D. To me.
It was annoying, but I was always like, I'm gonna beat it. And then after like 2 chances, I'm like, okay,
you can't beat that game. Like that's when I learned. Pinball was the first game that I realized that I don't like because there's no real way to win. You can always get a higher score.
Yeah, and it's always chance. Right? Everything's up to chance. There's some strategy, but
yeah, I feel like Minesweeper and Solitaire, you can win. Like it's a score thing, but it's like it's a clear win or lose. Like people don't really look at the score as much with Solitaire. But with
Yes.
pinball, it's very score focused, and that's what I didn't like
Yes.
about
Did
the
you
game.
ever
But
play Spider Solitaire?
yes, Spider Solitaire was so much easier than
You see,
Solitaire.
I disagree.
Really?
Spider Solitaire. Okay, so if it's one suit, easy.
Yeah.
One suit is easy.
That's
Have
what I'm
you
talking
played
about,
with
girl.
multiple suits?
No, I only played with one suit.
Okay, Cindy.
Multiple suits got hard.
One of these days, you gotta try multiple suits. It's so hard.
Okay. Next time we're together, we need to pencil this in. The
Yeah.
next time we're together, we need to play card games, and we need to play
board games.
Board
we need
games.
to get some Uno going. Mm-hmm.
Girl, I got myself I want to get myself a new Uno deck, but I got myself an Uno deck.
Mm-hmm.
We got it.
We need some more gaming time. Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, a tangent. Back to life. So, yeah, this is our series of reflection, and we discussed podcasting, and we discussed our hobbies, which kind of all came about because of our 20s. Like, the whole purpose that Chanel and I started this podcast was because we were in our mid to late 20s, just finishing school, and realizing that we, in a sense, quote unquote, wasted away our 20s getting educated. And now the whole expectation of us is to be quote unquote adults and being together with our finances and all that stuff. So the podcast formed because we wanted to have conversations together, like conversations that we were having outside the podcast, together on the podcast about our views on life as Black women in our mid to late 20s, and kind of how our lives are being shaped day to day, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
So this podcast is just a reflection, just kind of a conversation of who we were 10 years ago, especially because we're about to both be 29 years old, and we're about to be celebrating our last full year of our 20s.
Yes.
So I would say, Chanel, take it away. I feel like we should talk about our lives because, talking about 10 years, if we went year by year, that would take forever. We should talk about it in like major like points, right? So like our early 20s, talking about
our 20s.
Yes. Say it again?
Seasons of our 20s.
I like that. Yeah, seasons. Yes. The summer, fall, winter, spring, even though I think...
Oh, yeah.
What would be considered our summer, fall, winter, spring of our 20s?
That's a bomb question. So...
Right?
I feel like right now...
Yes.
Because, it's normally like winter is like the death period. Because all the plants die, like literally.
So we're currently...
It's a period of death.
In spring, then. Right now should be spring.
I feel like it's spring, and 30s is about to be the beginning of the 30s. At least it's going to be summer.
Yes, it's summer. Which means
I'm ready for the rest of my life to be summer.
Graduate school is the winter.
It's definitely the winter.
Fall would be, I guess, our like last couple of years of our undergrad experience, beginning period of our graduate experience. Oh, actually, yeah. Because you came in near the middle of my graduate experience, and that's kind of when things took a deep dive for me into winter.
Yep.
And your winter could be like after you graduated, kind of dealing with the post-grad depression. And yes, I actually called out one of the episodes from her podcast. I am a supporter.
An opportunity. Chatting with Chatty, check it out. It's still on Apple Apple Podcasts.
I'm gonna go report it anyway. And so then the summer, and that would make sense. Summer, fall, winter, spring. Summer would be starting college, our first couple of years of college. Our fall would be the end years of undergraduates and beginning of graduate school. Winter would be my last couple of years of my PhD, your post-grad of PhD. And then the spring is our period now.
Yes.
I love that.
I would agree with that.
I love
I think
that.
I agree with that. And so
let's start with summer.
Yeah, there was so much hope.
Summer was bright. I mean, it like the timing as well. August, that is technically the summer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt like I came into my undergrad bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to take on the world. I'm going to get what everybody has been telling me to do for the last 17 years. I'm going to do it. And it's going to happen, and it's going to work out, and I'm going to be a college professor, and I'm going to be a rock star, and it's going to be amazing.
You wanted to be a professor.
It took everything I had out of me.
Right.
It was a mess. And so, I'm of the proponent of let's not have children choose their life, their careers, you know what I mean? And You know what I'm trying to say? Like, let's not
See,
have them make full-on life decisions when they're 17, 18.
here's the
Let's not do
thing,
that.
though.
Just go to
Here's
college
the
and have fun.
thing. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Drama.
That is drama.
Drama.
That is drama.
Only because, right? Like, I understand it to an extent when it's like you're going in and you're picking your degree and your career, but then, like, when would be the best time to do that? To stumble and fall, you know? And
Yeah,
pick
I
yourself
feel
back
like
up.
after, or like towards the end of graduation at least, I think, because, oftentimes I will mentor younger people.
Yes.
And I always tell them, like, get an idea of what you're interested in. Like, look at yourself as a person. So far, you're still young, whatever. And whatever you choose, it's probably going to change. Like, you don't
Yes.
even know
100%.
anything. You don't know anything when you're a child. So
Mm-hmm.
I always tell them, like, look at the things that you're interested in, look at who you are as a person, maybe take some career tests, da da da, whatever. Get an idea, and then think about, okay, in the future, these are some potential careers that I might be interested in. Look at the salary
Right?
and make sure you
Mm-hmm.
can support yourself in the salary with the lifestyle that you want to
Ooh.
live. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so I tell them that. And then I tell them, whatever you choose, it's probably going to change.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably going to change several times. So make sure you
Yes.
choose a degree that is applicable to things, right? For me, I chose mathematics. I struggled and it was rough and da da da. But
Yes.
mathematics is such a diverse field. Like, you could
Mm-hmm.
do whatever the hell you want with mathematics. So I always tell
Right.
people, like, try to get something that's diverse and can be used wherever you need to go, because you most likely, like, probably 90% will have to pivot to something
Yes.
else.
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's my kind of guide. So it's like, yeah, you do have to make decisions when you're younger, but, like, don't be married to the decisions that you make when
Right.
you're younger. Be flexible, but also try to set yourself up for the best future possible as
Mm-hmm.
much as you can. So yeah.
Okay. See, so I get that because I was also thinking as you were explaining it, I like the idea of like people going and getting like their prerequisites. You know, like your first 2 years should be kind of like prerequisites, like kind of like what you're saying. It's like you could have a specific
Yep.
leaning, right? Where it's like, you know, if you wanted to be focused in math or if you wanted to be focused in engineering, you need to make sure like the prerequisites that you're taking are geared
Yep.
towards that versus like English. You don't necessarily, if somebody knows they want to be more in the humanities, don't drop them in a Calc 3 class, you know?
Yeah.
But I like the idea that some schools that you're kind of undecided until you are in the middle or near the end of your sophomore year, just because it's like, okay, it gives you the opportunity not to be married to a degree,
Yeah.
and then also gives you the opportunity to kind of change your mind. Because, like, I do think, like, 17, 18, as much as it does suck that you're making those decisions, I would rather you do that at 17, 18, fall and fumble, than when you're, like, 22, 23, you know?
Yeah. It's all about setting yourself up
Yeah,
for an unpredictable future.
right. 100%.
Yes.
But okay, so bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. I was about the same as well because when I started college, that was the first time I felt I had freedom from my parents. My parents were strict growing up, and I just felt as though like one of the things that I did, like, you know how some kids they go crazy when they
Yeah.
like start partying and all that stuff. My idea of being crazy was I stayed out past curfew. Like that's what I felt exhilarating. Is like
I'm
my
out at
parents used
11:30. Oh my god.
Exactly. I would be out till 11, 12, and I'd go home around 12:31, and I'd
Yeah.
be content. And like it's so funny. Like I feel like you could tell the extent of how strict my parents were. That's the only thing that I did. That I felt content with that rebellion. Like that type of rebellion was being outside late.
Yeah. Which is probably a sign that if your parents were chill, you probably would have been fine.
Yeah. Like if my parents were chill, sure, yeah. I wouldn't feel the need to be outside like that. But you know, so I was about the same, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and I kind of knew what I was going to. I decided to be a chemical engineer in high school, my senior year of high school, just because, not because I necessarily wanted it. I just knew I was good at chemistry, and at the time, my chemistry teacher told me that if I went to just get my bachelor's in chemistry, all I could ever be was a chemistry teacher. Now, I do not know for a fact if that is true,
I don't
That is
think
what she
that's
said
true.
to me. Yeah, see, that's what she said to me. And I was like, I don't want to be a chemistry teacher. Like, I don't want to come back and teach people. I want to make money. And so I heard about engineering, and I was like, oh, it takes chemistry, it takes math. So I was like head in the clouds type situation. Like, I'm so happy to not be at home. I'm so happy to have my own curfew. And I'm so happy to know that the job that I'm taking is going to make me so much money.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. That was like, my summer season was just like lackadaisical. Like, there was some like friendships ending, because that's what happens when you leave from high school and go to college. People start becoming their own person outside of the environment that they were forced into by their parents. But for the most part, I was just happy to be around. College was great. Classes were easy.
My summer season, it's still a summer season, but I felt like I got burnt.
Hey,
it was hot. It was hot, and not in a fun way. It was hot. I was sweating. I had a sunburn, you know.
Girl.
I was dying of heat stroke, you know what I mean? That's how my summer went.
Oh, the way that this is your summer season, I don't want to hear your fall, winter, or oh no.
Yeah, my summer season was rough. I just remember in undergrad, especially towards the end, bro, I was not having it. I had to take so many classes because earlier I ended up I ended up failing one of my classes. I think I only failed one math class, but that put me behind. And then I was also trying to do a minor, so taking extra classes instead of taking extra math classes to try to parse it out. You know what I mean?
What's your minor in?
My minor, I didn't finish it, but my minor was in human communications.
Oh.
Ooh. Oh my gosh, those classes were so easy. I'm so sorry. And everybody was shooketh when I was in those classes, because I'm like, girl, how are you not getting an A? But, you know, different strokes for different folks. I was
about to say the exact same thing. Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah. I really enjoyed human communications. It was fun time. I love the humanities. It's so interesting. But yeah, so that's what I was getting my minor in. And then by the time I got to senior year, I had to take just a ridiculous amount of courses, and they were like all math courses. I was taking... Because normally I was on the semester system, so I know some other schools are different. But for the semester system, normally 4 is the minimum for full-time, 4 regular classes. And then you can go up to like 6 or so. Yeah, you can go up to 6.
18 credits.
Yeah, I was taking 5 classes, and pretty much all of them were math classes. Besides like 1 maybe. And these are upper division math classes. Anybody who's not a math person, like literally, unless you have a math major, you do not understand what I went through. You do not have a math degree, you do not understand what I went through. Taking topology, differential geometry, complex analysis, like abstract algebra all at the same time. You do not know my struggle.
Yeah.
I would drive to school. First of all, I was at school Monday through Sunday. I was there literally every day. And I lived at home, so I would have to drive 45 minutes every day. I was there literally every day of the week, pretty much. Maybe I take a Sunday off. And I was there from like 8 or 9 a.m. till like... I was there till probably like 6 p.m. and then I had a job, and so I would go to my job, and yeah, that was another 16 hours a week or so, and I would tutor kids. But so I would leave my house at like 8 a.m. Most likely, and then I would get home by like probably 9 p.m. Every day. I'm traumatized every day. And then, there was certain times, I would drive to school. This is so sad. I would drive to school and I would literally sit there and I would just cry. Oh,
no.
I would cry. And like, it's so traumatizing. I would cry and then I would be like, okay, wipe my face, walk to class or whatever, go to the bathroom, rinse my face, and then sit in class for time. There was another time where I was not showing up to a certain class because I was like, I just can't do this. And the professor emailed me and was like, hey, I've seen that you haven't been showing up to class. Like, can you come to my office? We'll talk about it, whatever. And I was like, yeah, sure. And I go there. He's like, oh, yeah, so I've noticed you haven't been coming to class and da-da-da. Like, what's going on? And I'm like, well, I just, I've been doing this and I've just been really... I started profusely crying out of the blue, and it was not a good time.
I mean, but props to that teacher for one, noticing that you weren't coming to class, and two, checking in, because most professors wouldn't do that at all.
Most professors wouldn't and did not. Shout out to him. But yeah, so it was very traumatizing experience, and I was like, I remember talking to my parents, and I'm like, what do you think about me taking another year to finish school? And they were like, finish in 4? And I was like, okay, I'm going to finish in 4.
Wait,
finish in 4, what? Finish in 4. Whoa, we're going to finish in 4.
Back up. You've never told me that. You literally asked your parents to take another year for school, and they said finish in 4?
And I did, when you ask, but you're not, like, seriously asking, I bet if I was like, y'all, I'm crying in my car every day. Like, I'm not making it, bro. They probably would be like, oh, that's fine. But when you ask and you're like, what do you guys think about me? Just like, taking another. They're like, girl, if you don't finish, I'm like, yeah.
But here's the thing, though. I feel like you said it as a joke, but I think sometimes people don't realize that sometimes joke hypothetical questions are legitimate questions that people try to pass off as jokes.
And you're like, the only way I can ask this is to make this a joke. Because if I don't, I'm going to lose my mind right now. So, so that was my undergrad experience. I would say
that's your summer.
That was my summer. I got burnt. It was hot, and it makes sense because I don't really like summer as a season. It's too hot. I just don't like it. Right. But yeah, so there was definitely a feeling of my dreams being destroyed and crushed. And then also like the feeling of no one being there for me. We had that one professor who stepped up, and then later on there was another professor who also stepped up, but at that point it was too late. Way too late. I got an advisor freshman year, and that guy was a huge word that I would not say right now. So yikes. I was already too far gone, probably. Literally after my first semester of school is probably too late for me. So yeah, I have a lot of trauma around that. We love that. And girl, I was so overworked. And let me just say this one thing, and then we'll move on from summer, because wow. There is this one scene and it happens twice in this show. It's called Better Call Saul, the spinoff from the Breaking Bad series. Yeah. And there's 2 scenes in that show. They're the same scene, but with 2 different characters. And it represents, like, when I watched it, I was like, did someone have a camera? And they were watching me during this period in my life, because
I need to watch those scenes then.
Yeah. So basically what happens in the scene, there is this lady, she's a lawyer, right? And she's working. Like, she is, like, above 80 hours a week, working, right? Right. And so she is about to go to another case or something, whatever. She's overworking herself to the max, right? She gets in her car, she sits down, she sets a timer for a minute, and she just closes her eyes and sits there for a second. Oh, wow. And then the alarm goes off, and then she starts driving and going wherever she's going. That, and then there's another, they do the same thing with another guy who is like a drug kingpin type character, and he's like on the run for his life because his gang or whatever is being taken over. I don't really remember, but he does the same thing. He gets into his car, like, he's been living in a sewer because he's trying not to get got, you know what I mean? Dang. And he goes into his car, sets a timer for a minute, sits there, eyes closed, and then ding ding ding, okay, I can go on with my day. I have done that.
Oh, wow.
Not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, not 5.
Oh, like, my gosh. That's crazy.
When I tell you, I was struggling in my undergrad. I was struggling.
Wow.
Absolutely struggling. So,
dang.
Love that. Love that for me.
That's wild.
So yeah, I didn't enjoy my summer season.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Hey,
Let's
that's really
talk about the
fair.
fall. Yay!
So, funny enough, your summer is my fall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because my shit started hitting the fan for me. Because I would consider fall like junior, senior combined, and then like beginning of grad school.
Mm-hmm.
So my fall season was I had to start paying for school. So like, or more so just like trying to support. Like I didn't, my parents were very adamant on me not picking up loans, but at the same time they couldn't afford for me to go to school. So I had to start working.
Mm.
So I had to pick up a job in my junior and senior year. So that balancing, kind of like what you were saying, balancing everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I had a lot of like family members start passing away, and school didn't get that much easier. I was dealing with a very toxic roommate situation where that roommate tried to kick me out because she said I was sulking so much and ruining her vibe. Mind you, my grandfather had just passed away, and so I was just like in a very dark place because it was like classes were getting harder. I had to work to like be able to go to school. There was some exterior pressure to be able to like make sure I get those funds and support, if not get loans. And there was a lot of stigma in my family about not getting loans, and like, you know, that like pretty much it was like you need to start paying for school, but loans aren't the option. I felt like my community was crumbling beneath me because the person who I thought was my friend was like making fun of the way I dressed, making fun of the way I talked, and then also being on me because I was sad all the time. And that was my junior and senior year, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do for my future. And it was kind of like, again, pressure of being like grad school or bust. And I wasn't sure if I really wanted to go to grad school, but I went to a predominantly white institution where a lot of people were telling me that I wasn't capable of getting into grad school anyway, so there's no point in me trying. So it was, yeah, it was hard because I didn't get into the master's program at my school. And so I was told, if I can't get into a master's program, how can you get into a PhD? So there was just like a lot of exterior factors weighing down on my shoulders on how I had to try to like prove myself to everybody, it felt like. And I just felt like I didn't have the time to do it. So that was, I definitely cried a lot my junior and senior year of college because I was just like, life is just not fair.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. My fall. Well, I feel like my summer kind of extended into after graduation a bit because I graduated without a job, and I was like, from everything that I went through in my undergrad, I was like, I don't even know what to do with myself at this point. And so that was like a huge depression period for me. The post-grad depression is real because my schedule during school was insane, but like losing your schedule, losing your structure, not knowing what you're going to do going forward because there's not another semester, there's not a degree path for you. That was really hard for me, and like I spent that whole summer after graduation in bed. Yes. Hashtag depression. Love that. And so I didn't know what to do. I ended up working for my mom, and my mom, she works in an industry that is very, let's just say, toxic. Like they really just the vibe of the work, everything needs to be turned around in a certain amount of days. There's a lot of like calling people, yelling at people, whatever, and a lot of like management things like that. And so I did not enjoy working for her, but you know, in our society you have to work, right? So you got to do what you got to do. And so I took probably about a year off, and then I came to a point where I was like, okay, I originally wanted to be a college professor. My undergrad highly discouraged me from that, but I still think I want to do this. Let me do a tester. And so I was like, let me go back to my undergrad and get a master's degree. This will be the deciding factor if I continue on in this pursuit or if we're going to let this go. Right. And so I signed up for the master's program. I got in, and then I started my classes. Tell me why I had an amazing time in my master's program. That is probably the most fun time I've had in school ever. The cohort was super cool. We were hanging out all the time. After taking an exam, we would go get drinks together. Like, we just were having a great time. I was in the same math department, but I wasn't, in my undergrad, I did pure, which is a lot harder, in my opinion. Yeah. People might get mad at me for that, but I think pure math, you're just doing math for the sake of math, and it's just like extreme philosophy for mathematics. And so that was just a lot harder for me because, one, it's not interesting. It's not interesting to me. When we're just doing math to do math, it's not interesting. And then, two, everything has already been done, and you're just learning how to redo it. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like, okay, prove this. Like, homeboy who proved this in the 1700s, it took him his entire life to prove this, and you just want me to prove it. You know what I mean? From memory. Like, yes, I have beef with pure mathematics, but nonetheless. So I was in an applied mathematics program, so I got to meet some of the professors that were in the other side of the department. And why are they all cooler? Why are they all cooler? Like, except for maybe a couple here and there, they were all much cooler. I had some of them for like one class, and so they already kind of knew me. And so it was just a much more held experience. Like, I felt supported, I felt held, I had a community. The professors were not trying to kill me, except for one. You know who you are. Actually, maybe two of those hoes, you know who you are. But it was like, at that point I could just laugh it off because it's like, I've seen worse. So and so I had a great time in my master's program. My GPA was popping until I started applying for PhD programs. And the PhD program experience, I hindsight is 2020. Hindsight is 2020. In my master's program, towards the end, I went and talked to one of the professors that I really got along with, and I was like, I use this master's program as an opportunity to see if I wanted to move on further. After doing this, I want to move on, and I want to pursue a PhD. And he was like, oh, that's so amazing. That's so amazing. It is really hard to pursue a PhD program. Let me connect you with these professors so you can talk to them and like kind of see if you still want to pursue it and da da da. He was, and like each person that I talked to, including that professor, was like, I hated getting my PhD. I hated it. It's like so much work for so little pay and all this stuff. And like, I'm glad I made it through it, because I have the opportunity to do the job that I'm doing right now. But, it was a lot. And, and I was like, okay. So I went into grad school with an idea of, this is going to be ridiculous. And I was shook at how more ridiculous it was. Because, like, I was expecting, like, the normal. And I got, like, Sideshow Bob Carnival season.
Right.
I really did. I was not expecting that. I was expecting it to be horrible, and it was horrible. But the way it was horrible, I was very confused. So that was my fall season, and then we started getting into the winter.
Winter. It's cold in here.
We're the Tauros. We're the Clovers.
Yeah. So, I would say, so my winter obviously is with respect to grad school, but I would have to say, like, my fall season, like, winter didn't really start for me until third, fourth year. And I think it was like, I would like to say, like, the distinct moment, I feel like I can distinctly say where I feel like winter started for me was, you were there for it, was when we had a meal together at Local Foods in Houston, Texas, after the GEM consortium, like, fellowship, whatever, that happened in Houston, where Chanel and I got the same graduate fellowship that helped pay for the first year of school. And they had like a sort of symposium of some sort, and every single person who got his GEM fellowship at Rice University in Houston was paid for to go to this, because it's happening in the same, like, you don't need to pay for hotels. Like, I'm pretty sure I drove in every day. And I didn't know Chanel. Like, I knew of Chanel, but I didn't know Chanel at that point. And so we had like, I was me, Chanel, our friend Kyra, our friend Marquise, and a girl, Desire, who we were all there together to go and get food. And at this point, like, I was struggling. Like, I was internally struggling. I was the only black person left in the PhD program in my department at that point. And I just was struggling, but I was being told, I was essentially being gaslit by everybody that what I was going through wasn't that bad. And I thought I just had to kind of like suck it up. But when I had a conversation with Chanel and Kyra about their experiences in their grad program, I realized that one, it's not a singular experience, but we're all going through it. And it really made me realize that, yeah, what I'm going through is like hell on earth, literally. And that is my winter season, because it really, really, like, I had my first panic attack, actually, in my winter season. I fully remember, I think I called a friend of mine, my high school best friend. I called her in the midst of a panic attack, not understanding what was going on. Like, my heart was racing. I felt like I couldn't breathe, and I kept repeating the same things over and over and over again. And she's like, have you ever had panic attacks before? I'm like, I don't know what that is. And she goes, I think you're having a panic attack. Like, you need to start taking deep breaths. And I was like, I don't think I can. And at that point, I was like, dang, like, I already knew I didn't enjoy the PhD process. I just assumed, though, because everybody said it was going to be difficult, I just thought it was part of the course. I didn't realize you needed part of the course, you need to add asterisk for not part of the course for people if you are black, part of the course for people if you're a woman, and then part of the course if you're a black woman. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there needed to be asterisks where it's like, the only reason why you feel this way is because you're a black woman in America getting your advanced degree. So that was my winter season. Like, I absolutely, my advisor hated me. My cohort I felt like was out to get me. My lab mates were out to get me because they were the ones who were telling me everything was okay. Even though I was explaining to them, like, I feel as though I'm being treated unjustly. I was told, oh, our advisor must be having a bad day. Oh, this guy must have been having a bad day. Oh, you need to give him his grace because at least he realized he apologized for claiming that you're just a diversity hire and that you shouldn't have gotten into the program in the first place. Give him grace. He didn't know any better. Yep. So all of that I went through, and it wasn't until meeting and talking to Chanel and Kyra and listening to it and then talking to other people at that table for me to realize that, no, this is wrong, and what you're dealing with is wrong. So in a sense, I don't know if it would have been better if it would have been better if like the glasses were like rose-colored glasses were still on, even though they weren't quite rose. I was just kind of seeing them through a film of like, things are okay. But I really feel like Chanel and Kyra just ripped whatever was covering my eyes off, and they're like, look around.
This is the bad place.
This is the bad place. Yeah, so that season absolutely sucked. Incredibly sucked. Like, it's one of those things where I know the trauma is bad because I don't remember. Like, when we talk about grad school, I don't remember much of what happened, like, throughout that time. The classes I took, the papers that I written, the research that I conducted, like, I look at past work that I've done and I don't see myself in that work. You know what I mean? So I feel as though the amount of trauma that I had, I just kind of erased. So it's like, only times when we're having conversations like this, I don't think I really remembered I had a panic attack until we started having this conversation, because that's a point of my life that it's like, oh, we got to wipe that away because that was so difficult, you know? Yeah. So that was my winter season of my 20s. Yes. I'm pretty sure I debated quitting, but at that point, when you're 4 years into, I think, and I'm pretty sure like you and Kyra were talking about dropping the program, and you guys were a couple of years in, but I was 4 years in, where it was like my department was very stingy about giving a master's degree. So even if I left, there was a possibility that I wouldn't get a master's. And then at that point, it's like, how do you go to an industry and be like, hey, God, I got my bachelor's degree, and they're like, well, what can you say for this 4 years of missed opportunities? And it's like, oh, I quit my PhD. That's not going to help. So I felt, then I realized I was stuck, you know, and that's what made the winter season even worse. Like, I'm realizing I'm in the bad place, and I realize I can't even leave it, even if I wanted to.
Yes, ma'am. And let's have a little dialogue on trauma. Because, I definitely, in my undergrad, had many a panic attack. Many. And, you know, they never are fun.
No.
Panic attacks are not fun.
I never want to have one ever again.
Yeah, please God, no. But, you know, and so trauma is not a fun thing, and it's interesting the things that can traumatize you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because you think like, well, I used to think that like, oh, trauma, like that's something that like, you know, soldiers who go to war get, or people who were attacked or like physically attacked, right? Those kinds of things. But no, trauma has hands, and it can happen at any point, any time. And I think it's more like when your body enters like flight or fight, like whatever that like agitated state is for long periods of time, like that messes you up.
Right.
That messes you up. Like,
truly.
And I told you this, Cindy, there was even a point, because I'm like, you know, I haven't been in school it's been 3 years now, and I had, you know, I've been taking acting classes and whatnot, and I had a moment where I was actually triggered during one of these classes. Not anything crazy happened. It was literally just a regular conversation. And after that, I had a panic attack, and I'm like, whoa, I haven't had one of these in years. And it's like your body, that one book, your body keeps the score. Like, it's insane the lengths your body goes to protect itself.
I know.
It's actually crazy. Insane.
It's even like talking to you about things like when we talk about setting our goals up for the year, right? And like it's literally your own personal goals. It doesn't matter if you complete them or not, right? Yeah. But I was looking at it, it's like if I don't reach a certain percentage, I failed, you know? And like that's schooling. That is the trauma of school being carried over, right? Because why am I talking about goals that I set myself, talking about if I don't reach a certain amount, I'm going to fail? And then I start to feel bad about failing when it's like I'm the only one like who's delegating any of this, right? Like there's no real failure. Like I'm not going to be punished for not completing, you know? And I feel like that's like a lot of my life as well. Like I always feel as though I need to set like for every decision, and I'm sure you've noticed like everything that I do, I always have like a person like who oversees it, that I'm like, oh, I need to make sure that they're okay with it, because if I don't, like that's going to be a negative, and that's going to negatively affect me, when it's like, no, it's my life. Like even if other people around me are not happy. And I'm like, I feel like that can be easily tied to education, especially graduate school, when you're literally, I don't think people understand that in graduate school, especially specifically your PhD, you will only do well and you will only succeed if your advisor wants you to do well and your advisor wants you to succeed. It's all in the hands of one person. Some programs have it where you have a committee where it's like multiple people have a say, but it's typically one person has a say. So everything that you do has to be approved by that one person. And so it doesn't matter if you have like the best career, the best papers, if that one person is not happy with you, you will not do well.
Yeah. And they can find a way to kick you out of the program.
Exactly. And they will go out of their way to kick you out of the program if they don't want you there. For no reason.
Or postpone your graduation date until you quit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yay. So trauma. Hashtag therapy. But so for my winter season, it was I feel like my winter season was echoes of my summer season. Yeah. I feel like my summer season hurt me a lot worse because
it was the first time.
I was so, you know, I'm telling you, if you met 17-year-old Chanel, like if you met her, she was a completely different person. She was like ready, you know what I mean? Right. I'm like, I always think about like, if only I had the support system I needed when I was 17, I would be curing cancer right now. Like you people don't understand.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, by the time I got to my PhD program this winter season, I already knew what it is.
Right.
And so anything that happened was just like literally, I don't even know how to describe my reactions in that period. It was like everything that happened, I just got like, it felt like there was more weight being put on me, and like I was just getting like more angry and like more pessimistic and more like just upset. Like that's what was happening. Each thing that happened, and so many things happened for no reason. And it was just like, I was expecting it to be difficult. I was expecting the professors to be awful. But they were doing things that didn't even make sense, bro.
They
That
never make
didn't,
any sense.
it didn't even make sense. Because I'm like, okay, if you want to make my life difficult, cool. But why? Because, like, my advisor during this period, he would play games. And I'm like, why are we playing games? If you want to abuse me, why don't just do it? You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not talking about physical abuse. I'm talking about, like, mental, psychological abuse.
Oh, yeah. It's all mental.
It's all mental.
That's the way they get away with it, because if they actually hit you, they could get fired. But if it's all in the
and
head,
even then, they might not even get fired. They might just get transferred to another university.
Oh, yeah.
Let's clock
True.
T on that.
You're right. That's
trifling as hell. But we digress. So the psychological torture. So, like, okay, I'm thinking in this person's head, you want to make my life difficult, right? So just give me a lot of work, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Make me jump through hoops, da-da-da. Like, that's the normal stuff I was expecting. Belittle me. Cool. I don't even care. You know what I mean? Like, do those things. My advisor, he would go, oh, do you need help? Oh, yeah, I'll do an entire course with you. We'll do an independent study. Yeah, let's do that together.
Yeah.
I'm like, my bestie in the program, I'm like, come on, girl, he's going to give us an independent study. He's going to help us. Wow. Oh, my God. Yeah. Just for him to not email me, not do anything, not say anything to me, and then email me 5 weeks into, like, a 10-week semester and be like, hey, you haven't done anything. Where's all of your work? And I'm like, bro, you literally sat in person. This is during COVID, the tail end of COVID, like, high pandemic times, right?
Right.
You literally sat there and said to me and this other girl, I am going to help you through the entire thing. I'm going to teach you the entire thing. We're going to do this entire thing together just for you to not say anything to us for 5 weeks. Then say, you guys aren't doing anything. Do I have to fail you? Oh, I have a solution. Let's take this professor that I know you guys do not like and has probably been talking behind the scenes, because they love to talk behind the scenes.
Yep.
And then this person was also a black man, so he had a weird control over the black people, or he wanted to have a weird control over black people in the program. And so he wanted us to work directly with him. I was literally looking around for the cameras. I was like, this is a setup.
Y'all mentioned that a lot, being like, it feels like we're on, like, a show. We're about to get punked.
Honestly, it felt like we were in, like, Upside Down world. Like, what are we you literally set this up. And I'm like, this takes months of planning, because you had to talk with this other professor, say, oh yeah, this is what we're going to do to them, not talk to me for whatever X date while we're working alone on this material, and then afterward, you know what I mean? And it's like, bro, what is going on? And they really expect people to take that. Like, they were genuinely shocked when I left the program. Like, genuinely.
No, and that's the
left.
thing that's so interesting. Like, I feel like that's a touch point, just real quickly, that it's so interesting how abusers will think that people will stay to be abused, because it's a cycle where it's like they've abused enough people that they've gotten what they want. So when someone actually gets up and leaves, they're shocked. They're actually shocked.
Shooketh.
And you're like, and then when you cite the reasons why, they're not even like, oh yeah, we did that. They're just shocked that you didn't allow them to keep doing it.
I remember that fool. First of all, he talked through another professor. That's why I heard about this. There was one professor who was a newer professor, and he gave me all the tea. He's still trifling as hell, but he gave me all the tea. So thank you for that, sir, I guess. But he was like, oh yeah, you know, we heard that you were leaving the department, and so was like, oh, I can't believe she didn't come and talk to me. Why would I come and talk to you? And additionally, why didn't you come and talk to me? I'm still at this school.
Right.
You could have came and talked to me and been like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, what did I do? Da, da, da. What can I change in the future? Da, da. You don't care. Why are you like posturing? The politics and posturing, I was not prepared for. Right. The nonsense, I was not prepared for. I was prepared for the abuse, and they weren't prepared for me to be ready for the abuse. You feel me? And I think another thing that made this season so bad was other students. What is wrong with some of you people? Like, you are so ready to defend and fight for these people that are abusing you too, bro. And especially after me and my bestie left an apartment, there was no more black women for them to abuse. Guess who they turned it
Exactly.
on?
Everybody else.
Yeah, you were suffering. Sucked. That sucks for you. That sucks for you. We
Yep.
told you exactly what they were doing.
Right.
Now it's your turn. You know what I mean? So that
Right.
was just
Hmm.
such a messed up time. And I moved to Texas. Jesus Christ. But I will say, Houston wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No, Houston
But
was 100. I agree 100%. Houston wasn't as bad, and that's how I met Chanel. Unfortunately, like that had to be the situation, but that's how we met.
shout out Houston. Shout out
Yeah.
Houston. But
I
y'all got a lot.
actually
Y'all got stuff to work on. But
I
nonetheless,
would
I
go back to
digress.
visit. Like I think and we'll get into it into the spring. I think I'm at the point. I mean, like I have family there. People
Yeah.
still live there who are getting married. I'm there often, and like when I don't have to go to Rice,
Yep.
Houston's actually fun. Houston's a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
You most likely will never catch me in Texas again. But if you do, I will be eating barbecue.
Yeah, I miss barbecue. And you know what? They got you one time back into Houston. It was for a wedding. Like that's
Yeah.
the reason why I go back. But I
That
feel
was
like
the one time.
every other person, like there's nobody else that's still in Houston that you would go back for. So
Absolutely not.
yeah.
So, yeah, that was our winter season. And now
Yeah.
it's springtime.
It's spring.
Yeah, I feel like the spring was healing for me.
Oh, that's
Healing.
good.
Lots and lots of
Yeah.
healing, going to therapy, getting able to like really think about my life
Mhm.
and like what I want to do going forward that's not revolved around school or being a college professor or anything like that. Super
Right.
nice. Doing regular work after being in a PhD program is like a dream.
Mhm.
I was working like
Yes.
80 hours a week as a PhD
Right. And
person,
making like half the amount, if not a quarter of the amount of the money you're making now.
like a quarter of the amount. Jesus.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so it was great to actually pursue hobbies that I've always wanted to do and like kind of, let go of not all of it because trauma, it stays with you. It
Mhm.
stays, it's got hands and it stays with you. But like being
Yeah.
able to find a happiness that is my own.
Mhm.
I feel like that's what's happened in the last few years after this PhD nonsense
Debacle.
debacle. Okay.
Mhm. So my spring, I think, is interesting because I agree. Like at the very beginning, everything was sweet in the sense of like Chanel mentioned. As soon as I graduated, my salary increased by four, a multiple, like multiply what I made in undergrad by four, not undergrad, excuse me, grad school by four, and that's what my yearly salary was. I think honestly to a T. That's what my yearly salary was right out the gate, which was amazing. And I was able to be in a place like I left Texas, came to California, and I made friends, but like I think I settled again, right? I kind of went in the direction of like I just needed to get out. So it wasn't necessarily I found an opportunity that's what I wanted. I just looked for an escape from one bad place and unbeknownst to me entered another, where I will forever say the things that I experience in the spring season will never amount to the things I experience in the winter. I still will say that with my whole chest. The things that I deal with now are nowhere near as bad as what I dealt with before, but I'm seeing a pattern of things in this current state of my life that emulated what I dealt with at the beginning of my PhD experience. So, surprise, surprise, I quit my job in this
Ah.
era of spring because I've learned and I've grown, and I think this is kind of where the concept of spring is rebirth. Like I've grown and realized that what I want to make sure is I never put myself in a situation that I was in my PhD ever again. And I will say that being in a PhD has shown me signs to keep an eye out for, and those signs and those alarm bells were ringing, bling 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 bling. So I got out. And so I'm actually really intrigued for what this last year of spring will have for me because I think in totality, comparatively, it wasn't as bad, and I see this as a period of growth. But I think I'm about to start my healing journey. Like I just recently found a therapist that I thoroughly enjoy after like 2.5 years of trying to find somebody. and I'm starting a new journey, trying to pursue things that I know I will like better than what I just did, because I'm actually going to be putting in the time and effort to ensure that what I'm going to do is actually what I wanted to do. Because the career that I picked in the industry that I was in was nothing that I wanted to do at all. It just was, I couldn't find myself a job after graduating from grad school, and this was the only opportunity that I had. So, I mean, who says no to money, right?
Money.
Especially when you don't have any. So my period of spring, I think, is interesting. I still say it's more of a positive end because it's growth, but I'm really excited to see that period of bloom over the course of this next year, because I think the last year of my 20s is my spring season, and with the fact that I'm about to be 29, like this next year and some will be where things will start to pop off. I have faith.
I have faith as well. Oh my God. You see, I was not expecting this this conversation to be so cathartic and like deep. Jesus.
I can tell you were releasing some demons.
I was releasing some demons. I still gotta go fight some demons who are still on this earth. But nonetheless, I'm I feel like your 20s are you just fall down so many times in your 20s.
Right.
And I feel like we've fallen enough to actually figure out what we want out of life. And I think that's going to help us in our 30s and beyond to kind of make sure that we're in a place that we actually want to be, and we're living a life that we actually want to live,
Agreed.
Yes, ma'am. But yeah, after this, I'm going to go eat some ice cream. I think I deserve it.
As you should. Should I get boba?
Yeah, get some boba, girl.
Let's get some boba. Or froyo.
That's what I'm gonna get. Exactly. I'm going to Yogurt Land.
Let's do that.
I can't lie.
I'll get myself some Menchie's. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, any last words, Cindy?
No. Awesome. I'm excited for the future, though.
I am excited for the future because it's about to be lit.
It's about to be lit. Things are cooking. That's for sure.
Everything's cooking in the background. Alrighty, Cindy. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. Is someone knocking on my door? Hello? Open the door. Open the door. I'm filming a podcast right now. Goodbye.
Hi.
You want to say hi to the podcast?
No, thank you.
Okay, bye.